fundamental basis of our being together? What do we hold in common? What do we agree should be our core national values and the basic rules of engagement for our corporate existence? As individual politicians and political parties jostle for positions come 2023, some of us recognize that just a change of ruling political party or ruling persons, which the 2023 elections will hopefully achieve, is not enough, and it cannot take us far. A renegotiation of the terms of our union as a matter of utmost urgency and priority national imperative is, to me, the most viable path for salvaging our failing and collapsing nation. Meanwhile, Nigerians have held several profound conversations in the past. It has been referred to here just now, including the Babangida's 1986 Political Bureau, Sani Abacha's 1995 Constitutional Conference, Obasanjo's 2005 Political Reform Conference, and Goodluck Jonathan's 2014 National Dialogue. We have produced tons of documents from previous dialogue sessions whose recommendations have been ignored by a succession of leaders. We need to revisit the outcome of these dialogue conferences, and indeed, the Savannah Center has done quite some useful work in this regard with the support of a number of agencies, including my own Luke Stera Leadership Foundation. The recommendations for structural reform from these previous dialogue events must now be considered among the low-hanging fruits from which to start the project of salvaging our collapsing nation. The changes we require to bring about are not superficial, but massive, fundamental, and far-reaching. But in my view, the required changes can be summarized under just three broad themes, and it has been referred to by the AIG that spoke and Dr. Shetima, namely, rule of law, number one, rule of law, number two, equal citizenship, and number three, self-determination, or what has often been described as devolution of powers. These three areas are the cause of our problem. Rule of law, equal citizenship, and self-determination or power devolution. To reflect power devolution, to reflect the true nature of Nigeria as a federal state and not a unitary system that is claiming to be a federation. We must trace our steps back to the federalist route negotiated by the founding fathers and understand that the basis of the existence of Nigeria is mutual respect for the religious, ethnic, and cultural diversities of all those in the Union. The 1999 Constitution appears to have vested too much power in the center and emasculating the federating units. There is widespread call today that we should dust up the 1963 Constitution and amend it for our present-day circumstances. This implies that we go back, perhaps, to embrace the parliamentary system, adopt no more than 6 or 7 viable regions or states. Our 36-state structure today is not viable. And grant a good measure of self-determination to those regions, thereby reducing to the barest minimum the items on the exclusive legislative list. We need to cut down massively on the cost of governance by merging ministries, departments, and agencies, perhaps in a more radical manner than the Oronsai report recommended. We must now summon the courage to discuss openly and frankly the thorny issues of religion and state of origin. We must agree on what place, if any, religion should play in governance, and resolve on whether we want to live under a monarchical theocracy of some sort, or we want to live together as a modern, federal, democratic, multi-ethnic, and multi-religious entity, founded on the principles of justice, equity, equality, and mutual respect. If we are not able to resolve these thorny issues once and for all, I would humbly submit that we allow any geopolitical entities desiring to succeed to do so peacefully before it is too late. For quite frankly, dear friends, as presently constituted, I see that time is running out for Nigeria. We need a national network of thinking Nigerians. We need a network of thinking Nigerians from north to south and east to west who are prepared to engage in a wholesale peaceful revolt against a degenerate governance system that is daily inflicting fatal wounds on the people and turning the impoverished masses against themselves in an orgy of violence. We need a network of thinking Nigerians to engage in a peaceful revolt and the mobilization of grassroots people against a leadership recruitment process that has been suffocated by street thugs, cult gang leaders, internet fraudsters, ex-convicts, ethnic bigots, religious extremists, known rogues and treasury looters, and such remnants of primitive feudalism that we call political godfathers. Because a society cannot have credible and honorable leaders when the process that leads to their emergence is corrupt, bankrupt, decadent, and degenerate. We need a network of thinking Nigerians from among Christians and Muslims and from the diverse ethnicities across the country to help salvage our country and its people from the politics of bloodletting, greed, and acrimony that is largely superintended by shameless prostitutes of power who have often nothing to show for their stupendous wealth except that they have held political offices as legislators, governors, ministers, board chairmen, chief executives of federal parastatal or party chieftains, during which time they often so callously and recklessly looted the state resources entrusted to them that many soon become richer than the institutions or states which they had superintended. They habitually use this often ill-gotten wealth to further enslave the already emasculated people, constantly recycling themselves in positions of power, habituating corruption and normalizing violence in the polity. Only a few days ago, Nigerians witnessed the ignominious spectacle of the open auctioning of delegate votes at a party primary event, with bundles of dollars or Ghana must go bags of naira. Many of these agents of our national ruination are also, please listen, they are also seeking to position some of their sons and daughters in key political positions and place others in such strategic and juicy agencies and institutions as CBN, NNPC, LNG, NDDC, NCC, thus entrenching a set of family dynasties, which is a form of historical and multi-generational injustice that will inevitably end in violence. Conclusion. Need for grassroots education and mobilization for real social change. The restructuring Nigerians need today, the restructuring we need to engage in as a matter of utmost urgency is one that will demolish the ignominious system which props up such base characters for high office and begin to work on a new system that is to be founded on sound knowledge, unassailable integrity, and demonstrable competence. We must do all we can to wake up the sleeping giant called Nigeria. The ignominious system has endured for so long, largely because of the appalling state of illiteracy and political ignorance across the country. Schools and colleges, religious institutions, progressive political parties, and all manner of civil society organizations must begin to invest heavily in civic and political education at the grassroots level. Democracy presupposes a certain measure of enlightenment and civic awareness among the people who have the right of periodically choosing their leaders. Without such enlightenment and awareness on the part of the masses, majority rule can often camouflage the dictatorship of primitive feudal lords, whose poor subjects have accepted their deplorable state as God's design for them and are unable to see how things could ever be different. Yes, as the prophet Isaiah says, my people die for lack of knowledge. Those of us who desire wholesome change in Nigeria must get into the trenches quickly and engage the poor victims of the Nigerian leadership misadventure in the empowering process of critical social analysis for grassroots political emancipation. Thank you for listening.